Still down there. Just gotta go slow. He's looking at me. That was crazy. I wasn't going that fast on this road in Sag Zim, South End, and of course, you know, you can't stop on these snow-covered roads, and so I slid past and then put it in reverse, and of course, that sound of reverse puts every animal into I gotta get out of here mode. But he did stop and look at me a couple times. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're award-winning photos, but any day you see a wolf is a red letter day. I'm gonna get out and look for the tracks. I don't think he crossed the road. I think he came out of the woods and jumped on that snowmobile trail. Oh geez, he was coming towards the road and he probably heard my car. So at this point, he is not far from the road. Okay, if I would have been driving slower, man, he's only maybe 75 feet from the edge of the road. Wow. Always a red letter day when you see a Timberwolf. Just puts a smile on my face. That was a nice encounter. It is the end of the year already, hard to believe. And it's time to look back. Yeah, it was a pretty good year. Experience-wise, I had a lot of really neat encounters, and I'm going to share with you my 10 favorite wildlife encounters of the year. Maybe there's 11. Man, sure had some great experiences in the outdoors, in the wilds, and that's what it's all about. So here you go. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. But I'm not ignoring my top 10 photos. I will release that video tomorrow or the day after. These two guys had come up to the edge and were looking down and from the platform, and they said, have you been here before? Because there's crocodiles in these waters. And I kind of quickly stood up and backed away from the water. And I am not kidding. Like a minute and a half later, while I'm talking to Tim from Arizona and his buddy, one of these American crocodiles just swims right up to where I was. But got a chance to watch this crocodile, which missing part of the bottom jaw. I'd like to find out more about the history of this croc, but a rare species in North America for sure, and just fun to get a chance to spend some time with it. So yeah, I mean, could it have ended badly? I don't know. I should say that this video is from my iPhone, and I would have had some awesome video with my R5, but it overheated many times on this trip in the humidity. And that's because I was shooting in, of course, extreme heat, but also 8K video and 4K 120. That is tough on this camera. The good news is that even when overheating, you can still shoot stills. When I got to the south end of Admiral Road, I saw this critter jumping through the snow. Obviously a weasel. At first I thought it was a least weasel, but if you can see, there's quite a significant black tip on the tail. Yeah, this is a short-tailed weasel. A brown short-tailed weasel that has not turned white, not yet an ermine. We can't call it an ermine until it turns white. And he was hunting voles along the road. Pretty cool. I tried to get closer, but she was fast and not really paying attention to me at all, but obviously on the track of the voles. So kept going down the road, and this is the best I could do. But fun, yeah. And now they have the opposite problem. The ones at the Welcome Center are white, and yet the landscape is brown. But here's a vole track. You can see the vole track under the snow, and it plunged down in. old Port Isabel road, which the guidebook from many years ago says can be a real adventure. We'll see how far I get. Oh my gosh. Got a Aplomado falcon. And I thought, what's that white thing, lump? What do you know? Gorgeous. What a comeback story, right? Back from the brink. Reintroduced them back in the, I don't know, was it the 90s? And now here they are, nesting in the wild. I think they still do put up platforms for them. You can see what I was waiting for. I probably stood there for about another hour waiting for the Aplomado falcon to jump off that telephone pole and start flying. And I didn't even believe in my wildest dreams he'd fly kind of parallel to me. I thought usually in these situations they just fly off in the distance with their back to you. This guy flew parallel to me. Yeah, what a stunning falcon. I just turned down this road and I see something white flying off the edge of the road. It was a snowy owl, and it has landed out in the field. It's being harassed by a crow right now, but bad light, long ways out. Let's see if I can get on the other side of it. There's very few roads out here. I'm going to stick with it a while because, hey, a snowy owl is a snowy owl. I've lost sight of it right now. It is cold. Looks to be a very white and very small snowy owl, which would make you presume it's a male. Crows have left. He's still out there. I'm just gonna have to wait it out. There's no power poles for him to land on, so he'll probably just fly around the tundra here. Switch to my winter coat. I'm gonna try and get some eye level shots of the snow level shots. I'm guessing there's probably many snowy owls in northwest Minnesota every winter. It's very tundra-like, and just from recent records, it seems like that is about as consistent a place to find them as any in the state. What a blast. I'm still now I'm at the south end of J.W. Babcock, Corbett, WMA. And all of a sudden I saw a swallowtail kite over this agricultural field. Stopped, slammed on the brakes, got some distance photos, and all of a sudden it's flying towards me. And it landed up here, and there are 3 other swallowtail kites. Seems like a parent and 2 youngsters who are, can you hear them? Constantly begging. So they look fully grown. They're like, right, the teenagers, and they're fully able to capture prey and feed on their own, but no, they'd rather have mom or dad provide it for them. Sometimes you just get a tip on a good spot from somebody you just happen to run across, another birder. And that was the case with this Karen T. Marcus Sandhill Crane Park, where she told me there was a massive swallow-tailed kite roost. I went there first thing in the morning, but I was a little late. I didn't get far enough down the path, but check this out. Roughly 100 or so swallow-tailed kites kettling, leaving their morning roost. Wow. Spectacular. I'm going to have to go back sometime. Get up a little earlier. And to think, a couple days ago, I was very excited just to see 2 circling overhead. It seemed like there was about 100, but I took a photo, opened it up in Photoshop, circled the kites by tens, and came up with 73. Now, I was missing some as I did this with another photo and got closer to 100. But yeah, amazing spectacle. Crap. The great gray just flew over the road. Oh, there's a great gray. Right over there. Just waiting for him to pounce. He's intent on something in the sphagnum moss. Oh, there he goes. Oh, wow. I am hunting with a great gray. It's only about 20 feet away from me. Right. Well, that was pretty amazing. Great gray flew over the road. I saw him land in the bog, and I thought, oh, put on the rubber boots and go in. That was fun. All right, better get to work. I am looking for Loggerhead shrike. Boy, that would be nice, perched on one of these rusty barbed wire fences, or even better, the weathered fence posts. That was fun. Marbled godwits have personality plus, that's for sure. They're loud, but pretty tame, relatively tame. And yeah, just funny. Their voice, their call. Okay, I can't do it. But marbled godwits are one of my favorite photo subjects, and really helps that they're not that afraid of us humans. So I really did improve my collection of marbled godwit photos on this morning at Felton. And here are a few of my favorites with the Canon R5 and the Canon 100 to 500 millimeter lens. played a little bit with perspective with one of the godwits that was on a wooden fence post. And yeah, got some low angle stuff where I crawling in the grass, trying to shoot just above grass level. I wanted them to get by these blanket flowers, you know, these beautiful prairie composites with the red disc flowers and the yellow ray flowers. Tried to get the slow motion video, tried to get it all because I haven't photographed marbled godwits in a long time. While I was out doing the big day, I found this bruiser of a coyote. You know, something just didn't look right about this critter. It looked like it was half coyote, half timberwolf. And there are such a thing as coy wolves. It's kind of a popular term out east. But I've done some research, and it sounds like many, in fact, probably most or all of our coyotes and wolves are mixed genetics. One study found that coyotes in the east were 64% coyote and like 13% gray wolf, 13% timberwolf, and 10% dog. This thing looked, I mean, it was big. But note that it doesn't have as narrow a muzzle as your average coyote. And the eyes, the shape of the eyes looks to me much more like a timberwolf. It also had a wider head and broad face. Here's some photos I've taken over the years of coyotes. Notice the real narrow muzzle, the kind of rounded almond-shaped eyes, often very red on the muzzle. The coloration on the muzzle definitely looks like my coyote, coy wolf, whatever. But the overall look of it just looks more timberwolf. Now here's some timberwolf photos taken over the years. And notice the broad muzzle, wider head, lack of real red on the muzzle. And how the, you know, kind of eyebrows, they have kind of that light mark over the eyes. And it's the shape of the eyes, a little different. It's almost like the eyebrows are straight across. I know this is a weird esoteric thing. I don't know. So I'm thinking this is definitely a coyote that has some timberwolf mixed in. Now, timberwolves can often be easily identified by their kind of long legs, lanky gait, loose jointed gait. I only saw this guy for a few seconds when I crossed the road, and I didn't really notice anything there. So, I mean, definitely we'd call it a coyote, but it seems to have a higher percentage of wolf in it. After enjoying the nature center, I asked one of the naturalists, where could I see a snail kite? And she said, oh, sometimes they'll just perch right off the boardwalk. I'm like, really? Walked outside. Boom, snail kite. This adult female then flew towards me and landed maybe 100 feet away and started hunting. I got to spend about an hour and a half just watching her hunt. She caught 3 snails while I was watching. It was just a stellar experience. Sibley says this species is quote-unquote usually silent, but this gal was sounding off regularly. I love their call. I don't know if you can see my snail kite buddy right out there. And he's caught 2 apple snails. He comes back to the same perch. And unfortunately my camera's overheating again, so I can't get you more video. So instead I made this funky time lapse of her catching an apple snail. This is fun. This is what I love. Just sitting and watching these guys when you can observe their natural behavior. A celebratory rock in the rocking chair, because I just spent like an hour and a half with a snail kite, 80 feet away hunting. Got to watch him catch 3 apple snails. So, not a lifer, but Bridget and I think, saw a couple years ago up on the Shark Valley of Everglades. But first photos ever. Yeah, it was fun, and just getting to watch a wild bird doing what it does, and it wasn't fazed by me, didn't even look at me. So pretty cool. That's when Ryan spotted the badger. Yes, lightning has struck for the 4th time. And like all the other times, they just started palling around like they were expecting to see each other. And I'm sure they were, because this is kind of the same general area. We've seen it over 4 different Octobers. And yeah, the badger would just kind of follow the coyote for a little ways, and he'd get distracted by a prairie dog hole, go sniff that. The coyote kind of ignores the badger, but they definitely have a plan. And so, it's a cooperative thing. It's cooperative until somebody gets a prairie dog. And we've seen this before, where then every animal fends for itself. And the way it works is, in theory, is that the badger can dig down into a prairie dog hole, and the coyote kind of waits topside. Maybe the badger gets a prairie dog underground, then he wins. Maybe that prairie dog tries to slip out a back door, back entrance, and the coyote gets a prairie dog. So sometimes one gets the calories and sometimes the other gets the calories. So they're not friends, they're not buddies, but it sure seems like it. But this is just a survival strategy on the prairie, and it must work because it's been noted in multiple states. You often see it more in national parks because coyotes are not persecuted or hunted, and so they hunt more in the daytime than strictly at night. And the badger also hunts in the daytime. This badger all of a sudden took off and ran down and started sniffing this hole, and what? Another badger. I have no idea where this badger came from, if that was his burrow or he'd been hunting prairie dogs. I don't know, but we hadn't seen him since we'd been there for a few hours. And they had a face-off, and obviously the one on the right seems a little bigger. And yeah, the other one took off running and ended up kind of relaxing and came within, 100 feet of us, and might have actually ended up hunting with another coyote that was passing through to the south, but we lost track of him. Lightning has struck for the 4th time. In Teddy, thanks to Ryan, who spotted the badger. We were literally, they didn't get a prairie dog, but yeah, interesting.